Welcome back, everybody, to Kicking in the Second Half. Kish YZ. We have another PPF for y'all. Today, we're doing the lead man for the Boston Celtics, a.k.a. Jayson Tatum, a.k.a. Mr. 50-plus point bucket, Hubert. Hubert, you saw that, right? 50-plus.
I did. I saw that.
Setting records. Like I said, we got to dive into this guy. We got to do it quick and fast, and we got to represent, show him some respect. Once again, I'm D, back again with my co-host Hugh. Say what up, Hugh.
What up?
Yeah, that's right. Let's get it going, Hugh. Let's go ahead and give them the spill. I got a little bit of fun facts I'll probably interject in there. One of them being that this guy, he's related to Larry Hughes. That's what they say, but I think I kind of looked that up, and he's actually just like the godson of Larry Hughes. But if you haven't heard of Larry Hughes, he used to play in the NBA. He was a great scorer, shooting guard. And he also used to play with LeBron James on the Cleveland Cavaliers when LeBron was first on the Cavs in his earlier years in his rookie season. And just another fun fact to tie into that is, if you don't know the story, Jayson Tatum was asking LeBron for a follow on Twitter at the age of 14. And he was shouting out that he was, related to Larry Hughes. And he was also related to Tyronn Lue. That's Tyronn Lue's cousin, bro. Did you know that, Hugh?
I do remember seeing a thing where he was asking LeBron for a follow, but I didn't know that other stuff.
It's crazy.
You come with
now
them
be in the
facts,
league and play against the guy he wanted to follow. So maybe they're following each other now. I haven't looked.
Yeah, probably so if I had to guess. but
Hugh, let's go ahead. What's up, bro?
None.
Okay.
What were we saying?
Well, let's go ahead and get into the spill. Do you have anything on his high school career?
I do not. I started in college.
That's fine. Let me just drop another little tidbit. He broke the record for the high school scoring point total for the career. He broke Bradley Beal's record. He went to the same high school as Bradley Beal. Let me look at this and make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Chaminade Prep out of St. Louis. Did you know they were friends? They go back, Bradley Beal and Jayson Tatum.
I was unaware of that.
Great. I'm glad to fill you in here. Hopefully the listeners, if y'all are listening, you didn't know any of these, that's great. Give us a like and give us a sub if you want to see more of our content and stay updated. Turn the notification bell on when we do new drops. Hugh, give us a spill on Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, so it's his fifth year in the league. He's currently 23 years old. He attended Duke. I never knew. Well, I guess I knew, but I never thought about him going to Duke. And now I wonder how you always like him and you always talk about him. So that makes a lot of sense for me now. I never put two and two together, I guess. But from 2016 to 2017, from 2016 to 2017, he attended Duke. He was a one and done there. He declared for the 2017 NBA draft, where he was taken third overall. Hey, and I was actually reading when I was doing research for Tatum, I actually read something that said that year the Celtics had the first pick in the draft, and they traded it to the 76ers, and then they received third pick from Philly, and they were talking about it in hopes that Tatum would still be there, and he was. So that worked out for Philly. Worked out for Boston.
Yeah, because the Lakers, if we remember, they drafted Lonzo Ball number 2 in that same year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that worked out good for him. And then I just have some of the accolades he's already won in his short career. In 2018, he was on NBA All-Rookie First Team. Extremely impressive there. He's an All-NBA Third Team in 2020. You were talking about this in the Bam Adebayo PPF episode, but 2019, Jayson Tatum actually won the 2019 Skills Challenge on All-Star Weekend. That's an underrated little competition there, I think. But then it's a two-time NBA All-Star.
Bam was also in that draft class as well.
He was that year as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty good draft class. We might have to touch on some draft classes, do a podcast on that. Yeah,
for real. But that's pretty good. And then he's a two-time NBA All-Star 2020 and 2021. So back to back for him. And just something before I get into his stats for this season, I just want to touch on something. I don't think Tatum, he gets some double doubles, but I don't think he's really known for him. He can get some rebounds when he wants. But I just want to point out he's had 3 straight double doubles the last 3 games. So maybe that's something he's working on here lately. He's trying to crash the boards more. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I
impressive.
don't
And
want
then
to.
yeah, Friday.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
want to, relate it back to bubble fatigue like I do some of the other players when we're talking on our podcast. But with Jayson Tatum, he did have COVID this year and he had to recover from that. He was out about almost a month, missing games. And I think maybe he's finally building back up to a normal speed and normal level of playing ability, getting over COVID and getting over the side effects of that. And now we're finally seeing more development of Tatum. I mean, he's still got a lot to go. I'll let you finish the present before we get into the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Good thing you touched on there. I mean, I know we talked about him, him talking about his breathing and stuff wasn't, and his breathing and stuff wasn't like it normally was, and his stamina and all that. So yeah, it looks like he's maybe finally starting to round back out in his form, and I'm sure Boston's thrilled about that, and anyone who's a Jason Tatum fan. But yeah, Friday, put up 53 points, his career high. So yeah, just an amazing game from him, Friday. But yeah, his averages for this season, he's averaging 25.7 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 3 3-pointers made, 1.3 steals, and point 0.4 blocks. So I mean, pretty good across that whole board there.
Yeah, Hugh. I mean, you pretty much just, like you said, you're touching on what he's doing right now. What do you think he's doing in the future? You want me to take care of that?
No, I mean, I agree with what you said. I mean, I expect just for him to get better and better. Yeah, I think that COVID, like I just touched on, had a lot to do with it. It's tough, man. Your breathing ain't right, your stamina ain't right, and we don't know what kind of effects COVID has long term yet or anything like that. But yeah, so I mean, it's a scary thing, but it looks like he's finally starting to come back to himself and finally starting to play the ball that he and everybody else knows he plays, and that's what the Boston's going to need. They're going to need some elite play from him, and so far he's balling. Like they whooped up on Denver today. Had a 31-3 run. I mean, that's extremely impressive. So yeah, they're just going to have to. Boston's going to have to make moves, and Tatum's going to have to play at that level. We all know he can. But yeah, I mean, I just expect him for years to come. He's only 23 years old, 23, and so it's just extremely impressive. He's not even near his prime yet. He's just going to get better and better and better. I expect an all-star appearance probably every year, to be honest, except minus injury or anything like that. I mean, I think that's the sky's the limit for him. I see a chip or two in his career. I see him staying in Boston too. I mean, for a long, long, long time, and I see him and Jaylen Brown staying there being a nice duo. Getting a championship or two, getting Boston another championship. It's been a while for him. So yeah, that's what I predict. Just him playing better and better, developing his game. Yeah, and being a winner, an all-star.
Yeah, you touch on that 53-point game in your Hughes Weekly. Check that out on our YouTube page. If you haven't followed us, send us a like on the video if you're watching that, and send us a subscribe if you want to hear more of our videos and stay up to date with the notification bell when we do new drops. But yeah, I definitely agree with you with what you're saying as far as the long time career, as far as him staying there with the Boston Celtics. I think more so it's not going to be dependent on his talent. It's going to be dependent on what talent they bring in. We touched before. I think the Boston Celtics kind of botched up the trade deadline there with not bringing in a big man to help them out down low. But yeah, definitely if Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown both can stay together for the Boston Celtics, that's going to be huge. That's going to give them what they need for the future. And as far as the ceiling for Jayson Tatum, I see him as Kobe Bryant, the modern version of Kobe Bryant. We look at some of the greats and look to see what's going to be replicated or what's going to be evolved from some of the past generational players. And that's what I see with Jayson Tatum. Like I said before on the podcast, and I've had this discussion way before we had our podcast and our YouTube page, was that the discussion of that draft class, but just that rookie class, I guess you could say, because Ben Simmons was a rookie that season, even though he was drafted prior to that because of injury. He didn't play the year before. I felt like Jayson Tatum is the one that has the most development throughout his career over Ben Simmons, and he would be that player that in the end, when you compare the two careers, that he would be more elevated in the long term as far as what he contributed and what he brings to a team and how much of an individual skill level he would be performing at when it comes to his prime. How old did you say he was? 23 years old?
Yep.
24?
23.
Yeah, 23 years old. So, 3-4 years removed from starting his prime. So this guy is definitely a centerpiece for any franchise, and I don't see why the Boston Celtics wouldn't want to hang on to him. Like I said, I think it's more so just bringing in other pieces, but he's just definitely going to be a great leader as he gets stronger in his role. I think we saw before when Kyrie Irving was there. They were trying to make that work. Kyrie was trying to mentor a little bit, but you can kind of see after that first year that Tatum was definitely going to be the leader of the team going forward, whether or not Kyrie stayed. And maybe that's why Kyrie left. But, you know, that was a Duke brotherhood thing that they had going on that first year. And maybe he did get some advice from Kyrie, some leadership advice. But yeah, definitely now it's his team. And he's definitely got to go through some mistakes because he's still young, but the talent is there. So, get through what he's got to get through. And yeah, why not? It's the Boston Celtics. I could see them winning some titles there as well. Giving Boston a few more titles. I believe right now the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers are both tied for 17 total championships on each side. I guess that would be 34 total, but 17 apiece as far as the league record and franchise titles. So, that's a little fire right there for a competitive drive as far as who is going to come out on top in the next few years or within the next decade. The Lakers are trying to repeat, or Tatum and Brown are trying to get the Boston Celtics there in position to win the chip. It's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, anytime you play for the Boston Celtics and you're a big name like that, you're going to definitely have a big role there that you're going to have to fill as far as carrying that franchise to victory. I mean, we saw with Paul Pierce, he was only able to get one chip in, but anytime you get a chip for a franchise like that, that says a lot for your career. It basically automatically puts you in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I think the sky's the limit for him, and I think it'd be a disappointment if him and Jaylen Brown couldn't bring him a couple more chips to Boston.
One more question to ask you about him, since we're talking so highly of him. You see him as a league MVP at some point in his career?
Easy. Yeah, man. I mean, the sky's the limit for the guy, like I just said. And I mean, I think he's only a little bit better. I mean, he's already made back-to-back All-Star games. I mean, he's just going to keep improving. And yeah, I think he has to be mentioned in that conversation for years to come.
Great. I definitely agree. And shout out to Jaylen Brown. We haven't done anything on him yet. Maybe we'll get to that in the future because I think that tandem goes hand in hand. I'd hate to see them be separated, but we definitely got to touch on him. I have some opinions about him as well. But yeah, shout out to Jayson Tatum, obviously, and shout out to the Duke brotherhood, just because of Hugh, you mentioning that. That's why I'm high on Jayson Tatum. And it is because, I'm not naturally a Boston Celtics fan, but I do love the color green. And I try to root for anybody coming out of Duke. So once again, thank you for kicking in the second half. This has been Kish YZ. Hugh, last words.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out Kyle Dove, our friend from our personal life. KD is what we call him. I just didn't want to get the viewers. I didn't want to get the viewers confused on that one. But yeah, shout out
okay.
KD.
We know KD. We know KD.
Yeah, shout out KD. It's your team. Looks like they're turning the corner. Might be getting ready to win some games. But yeah, just we appreciate everybody's support, the likes, the views, the subs. If you like our videos, give me a sub. No tomatoes.
Yes, once again, give him a sub. No tomatoes. He doesn't like the veggies. And
Not
as well, I think we're creeping up on 30 subs. That's another little milestone I hope that we can achieve here before long. I think we're sitting at 29 exactly as of the date of this video. So hopefully we get 30 here soon. Hopefully this week would be the preference. So if you're watching, you haven't subbed and you want to give us that 30, drop your name in the comments and tell us what you want to hear. And we'll give you a shout out. Once again, thank you for kicking in the second half. Peace and love.